Hey guys, what's up? Jimmy here with another Lots of Games video. Welcome to episode 1 for super cheap PS2 games. Now, here's the thing. I understand that so many PS2 games you can pick up on the cheap, but in fact, there are actually a lot of great PS2 games that you have to pay a pretty penny. Those that are pretty awesome games that, you're going to have to spend more than $10 or $15. All of the games I'm going over with you guys today are games you should be able to pick up for less than 20 bucks. And these are pretty incredible games. I'm going to be going over with you guys 8 PlayStation 2 games that you guys can pick up on the cheap. And guys, if you like these types of videos, definitely slap that thumbs up button so I can know to make more. I will be doing episode 4 for super cheap Xbox One games very soon. And also, believe it or not, in a couple more, I know we just did episode 5 for super cheap PlayStation 4 games, but there's so many great games on the PS4, so be on the lookout for another episode for super cheap PS4 games. But let's get started with the very first episode for super cheap PS2 games. I hope you guys enjoy. So let's get started with the first game, and we're going to start things off with an incredible RPG that you can pick up right now on eBay for around $15, and that is Dragon Quest VIII Journey of the Cursed King. If any of you guys have an RPG itch you're wanting to scratch, an incredible high quality RPG, this thing has a wonderful soundtrack. Visually, the game is actually stunning. At the time, I could not believe what I was seeing. It's not a generic looking RPG. The actual character designs in Dragon Quest VIII, the character designs are actually done by Akira Toriyama. And for those of you that don't know who that is, that's actually the creator. He's the creator of Dragon Ball. And so this game has this beautiful cel-shaded look to it. The game does take place with, in terms of the battle system, a turn-based combat, but with all of the different characters that you'll encounter, all of the villages, all of the bosses, the various enemies, the beautiful areas you'll get to explore, level up your characters. This, guys, is an incredible RPG. It actually is available right now for a great price, less than 20 bucks. I've seen it on eBay for around $15 complete, which is a great deal considering what you're getting. Now, I do have to tell you guys, Dragon Quest VIII, this is a game that was published by Square Enix, but it's actually brought to us by the folks at Level 5. So in terms of this episode of super cheap PS2 games, the first and last game I'm going to go over with you guys are games that were brought to us by Level 5. I'm a big Level 5 fan. So there's Dragon Quest VIII, guys. Definitely check it out if you're a big fan of RPGs. Okay, next up is a very fun and thrilling action-adventure game published by Capcom. And you should be able to get it right now on eBay for less than 10 bucks, around $8. And I'm talking about Maximo Ghost to Glory. Now, if you are a fan back in the day of Ghosts and Goblins and Ghouls of Ghosts, essentially this is Capcom's love letter to those gamers. If you imagine what would Capcom do if they were to bring a Ghosts and Goblins type game to the PlayStation 2. And this is what you have. You have Maximo with 20 levels for you to explore, action and adventure, great moments to play throughout. Various characters that you'll meet up with. This is actually a really great game. When the game was released on the PlayStation 2, I did not get the opportunity to play it. But I got to tell you, I know a lot of you guys listening to this have not been able to play Maximo Ghost to Glory. And now is actually a great time to do so. You can pick it up for less than $10 complete. And again, I've seen it on eBay for buy it nows for around $8. So now is definitely a great time to get it, especially if you're a fan of action adventure titles. Okay, next up is one of my favorite racing games on the PlayStation 2. And when I first got my PlayStation 2, this is one of the first games that I got. And I got it new, but you can get it now for $6 on eBay. And it is a crazy, over the top, just wild racing game. And I'm talking about Burnout Revenge. Okay, so many different racing levels to play through. A great soundtrack. I'm not going to play any of the music because I know I'll get striked or flagged, but just rest assured they've got some pretty fun music tracks in the game. I love the Burnout games, and I'm really sad that that EA stopped publishing or bringing us Burnout games. I obviously loved Burnout Paradise. The Burnout Revenge is not an open world game, but there are lots of different racing games. And also these kind of like mini games where you get to select different vehicles, and the whole purpose is to cause as much damage in terms of dollars and explosions. And one of the vehicles you can use is like a Hardee's or a Carl's Jr. big truck, and that thing causes so much damage. It's hard to explain, but I played this one so much back in the day, guys. And if you are a fan of just fun, thrilling arcade racing games, now's a great time to get it. $6 to add it to your PlayStation 2 collection. I definitely recommend you guys take a look at this one. Okay, next up is a shooter, and at the time when this game was released, it got so much praise by not only gamers but critics alike. And you get this one right now on eBay for around $15. And for many people out there who have, say for instance, a top 10 PlayStation 2 list, a lot of gamers out there included this title in their top 10 list. And I'm talking about Timesplitters 2. The cool thing about Timesplitters 2 is that there are the environments and areas you'll get to play throughout are very diverse. In one area or one level, you're kind of involved in the Chicago gangster crime era of the 20s, and then in another level, you're like in this futuristic planet. Battling it out in the future. So if this isn't your standard, like, okay, it's set in World War II, or okay, it's modern day military, it's here and there in the sense the title, Timesplitters. You are going throughout time and you're blasting stuff up. You're shooting stuff up. And again, a lot of gamers out there, this game is definitely dear to their heart. And $15 is a great entry price to pay for this title, one that I really recommend you guys check out. Okay, so next up is one of the most unique games you can pick up on the PlayStation 2. It honestly is a work of art, and published by Capcom and developed by Clover Studio. You can pick it up on eBay right now for around $18, and that is Okami. So in Okami, you've got the powers of a god, but you play the game as this wolf. And the different areas and levels have this like watercolored, soaked visual look to it that is just so beautiful. There was, in fact, an HD version on the PS3, and there's also a Wii version as well. But this is a very unique game where you've got this paintbrush that you use, that you brush upon the screen to paint your desired powers. And there's lots and lots of dialogue in this game. I do have to say this is an adventure game, an action game, but there is a lot of story in Okami. So if you're not that fan of a game that has a lot of story to it, you might want to steer clear. But this one is, again, something very, very unique. One that I definitely recommend if you're looking for a high quality adventure game that is just a beautiful, beautiful game to play throughout. Okay, so next up is, this is one of my first games I ever got on my PlayStation 2, and I got it at the time on eBay for around it was $1, and I paid like $4 shipping and handling. With shipping, you should be able to get this one for around $6 on eBay. and that's Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4. A lot of you guys know I did review Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5. I hated it. And the reason why I hated it so much is because it was such a poor version of what it could have been. I absolutely love Tony Hawk 4. The different levels that you get to play throughout college campuses, San Francisco, the zoo. This is a great game, guys. I remember one time for work, I had to drive. I was on a bus, and I was kind of like a chauffeur type bus type thing, and they were taking me to the San Francisco airport, and I was on business, and they were driving me past Pier 39, I believe, and it was around the areas, like, because I had played Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4 already, and so I had played the level of Pier 39 so much. And when I drove over the bridge and was looking at the pier, I'm like, oh my gosh, Neversoft, they totally nailed it. That's exactly what it looks like in the game. I'd been to Pier 39, but driving over, like, almost kind of like a bird's eye view. And the gameplay in this game is so solid. Great tracks were included for the soundtrack. And one of the things I liked most about Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4 is the different characters you get to meet up with in these different levels. And they issue these challenges to you. And when you pull them off, they're very rewarding and so fun to do. And that's one of the things I hated about Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5 is they took that out. It was like this empty shell, no life to it. There were no characters or like these pro skaters to issue these challenges to you. It was just kind of like this barren wasteland. But in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4, even though it doesn't look as good visually as Pro Skater 5, it has a life to it. And the gameplay as a whole is more solid and was more responsive and was put together by Neversoft. And Neversoft is the folks, they're the ones that did the other Tony Hawk's Pro Skate series. Definitely a great title. $6 just for a fun skateboarding game. Something you'll be able to pick up and play and to pass the time. Lots and lots of fun. Okay, so next up is a very fun adventure shooter, epic, based on the epic series of Star Wars. You can pick it up right now on eBay for around $10. And that is Star Wars Battlefront 2. Now, this game, I feel, was a much more complete experience. I had fun with Battlefront on the PlayStation 4, but this one's a much more complete experience. I'd be able to fight in space. There's 16 locations. You can play as a Jedi. A great title. This was one of the legendary, honestly, this is one of the best PS2 games out there. If someone said, hey, I want to start my collection on the PS2, what are some titles I can get? This is a must buy. Not just because it's at a decent price, because it's a really good game. One, guys, that I highly recommend that you check out. Even if you're not that huge of a Star Wars fan, it's a fantastic game regardless. But if you're a big Star Wars fan, oh yeah, not only are you going to be blessed with a great game and epic battles, but also you've got characters throughout the Star Wars universe. A definite must buy, guys. Around $10. It's just so much fun. Okay, so for the final game, I'm going to go over an action RPG. I love this one so much. Now, again, the first game that went over, Dragon Quest VIII, that one was brought to us or developed by Level 5. This one's also developed by Level 5. I'm a big fan of Level 5. And you can get this game right now on eBay for around $16. And I'm talking about Rogue Galaxy. Now, oddly enough, if you don't, in fact, have a PS4, and if you don't have a PS2 and you still want to play this on your PlayStation 4, this one is actually available on the PlayStation Network to play on the PlayStation 4, and it's in 1080p, and the game looks great. Plays great, and it's around, I think, $15. So if you don't have a PS2 and you still want to play this one, guys, just kind of some of the quotes that's on the back of this game. Hardcore Gamer magazine said one of the biggest and most vibrant games ever for the PS2. That's saying something, because the PS2 arguably has one of the best, if not the best, library ever. Some would argue the best. I would definitely say one of the best. And Game Informer said that Rogue Galaxy is a deep, well-crafted adventure that will keep you playing until the end. Okay, just to clarify, guys, with you, Rogue Galaxy is not a game that you're going to be able to finish in 5 to 7 hours, okay? This is a game, if you wish, you'll be able to play 70, 80, 90, 100 hours. If you want a game with a whole lot of gameplay and a whole lot of story to it, definitely check this one out. I remember when it came out on the PS2, you know, I was just so impressed with the visuals. But it is a great game through and through. Great soundtrack, great gameplay, awesome, unique characters you'll get to meet up with and explore various areas with. A must-buy if you're a fan of action RPGs. Rogue Galaxy, again, you can get it for around $16 for the PS2. For the PS4, you can get it for around digitally. You can get it digitally on the PS4 at the PlayStation Network for around $15, I believe. And check out the reviews on the PlayStation Network. The reviews are very high, and there's a reason for that. This is a great, great title. Well, guys, there's episode 1 for super cheap PlayStation 2 games. Again, if you guys enjoy these types of videos, slap that thumbs up button so I can know to make more. And guys, let me know in the comment section below a couple things. First and foremost, what PS2 games are you guys fans with that you think I should talk about for the next episode? And secondly, what other consoles do you want me to cover besides Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and PS2? I might be doing a GameCube one very, very soon, so be on the lookout for that. But as always, guys, thanks so much for watching. I truly appreciate it. One other thing, if you're unfamiliar with my series, I've done a bunch of episodes for the PS3 and also the Xbox 360. I've done episodes for this for the PS4 and Xbox One. I'll include my super cheap games playlist in the video description below so you guys can check it out and get some ideas for games you can pick up on the cheap. Great games that I would recommend, games that I think you guys would have a lot of fun with. But anyway, guys, as always, thanks so much for watching. I'll talk to you later.